Since 2003, this is the Sports Source, East Tennessee's #1 sports talk show.
Brought to you by Junk Be Gone and the Garza Law Firm.
With your host, John Pennington. The Sports Source starts now.
Good Sunday morning, and thank you for being here on this post-Christmas day, merry day after Christmas, I guess it is. We're going to keep as a kid, Christmas didn't end until I had to go back to school. So today we're going to continue to have the Christmas bumps. We're going to have a little Christmas music. If you've got your fingernails on the cliff trying to hang on to Christmas for just a few more hours, we got 90 more minutes for you. We're going to do 20 questions today, basically covering Music City Bowl, the football program, the basketball program. We've even got a Christmas homecoming on the show, somebody with an old favorite of ours who hasn't been with us in a few months. It's a fun, laid-back post-Christmas show. Let's dive into it. Again, thanks for being here. First segment of our program, brought to you by my friends at Junk Be Gone. Mike Such and his family-owned business are just fantastic. I use them every year. And just look around your house right now. The boxes, the paper, the tree, all the old stuff that you just replaced with new stuff. Well, make things easy on yourself. Order a driveway dumpster from Junk Be Gone. Load it up with all the Christmas leftovers and have them haul it away. Easy as pie. JunkBegone.biz to learn more. This is a company I believe in, mainly because it's just simple. It's like I can just dump it in there, they carry it away. Make it easy on yourself this Christmas, this post-Christmas. Junk Be Gone, they can help you do that. All right, let's welcome in the first wave of panelists we have today. Bob Hodge, longtime sports writer here in East Tennessee. Thanks for joining us. Good morning. Sterling Hinton, VFL. Sterling, thanks for being here.
Glad to be here, John P.
VFL Daniel Hood beside you. Daniel, thanks.
Thank you for having me.
And down there, longtime sports writer Chuck Cavaleris. Thanks to all of you for being in here on this December 26th. I appreciate it. First question of the day, as these two beat each other. Is the Music City Bowl actually important? And I'm not saying, in terms of just a game. You want to win every game you play, obviously. It's important in terms of a game, but you've got 1 million bowls now. You've got players opting out of bowls. You've got teams that are like, we got guys with COVID, we got some injuries, we're good. Whereas 15 years ago, before everybody was making this kind of money, Texas A&M, for example, would have said, we've got walk-ons who are going to play because we need that money. Now it's like, we're not going to play. Is the Music City Bowl important, Bob Hodge?
Yes, it is. I think it is important. I think maybe even more so for fans. And I'm not talking about fans going to the game, but it extends your football season. It keeps you involved with the program. It keeps you reading the news stories. And so I think from that standpoint, it is important for the fans. I think there's some importance for the team as well. But, yeah, I'm going to go with they're still important, even if they are really kind of down the stairway now from where they were. But, yeah, I'm going to go with still important.
Okay.
I'm going with still important as well, to agree with Bob. And I think the most important thing is for the actual players. It's a great time for them to get to travel, get to go to a new city. They also get to put a little money in their pocket. Hey. And so whenever we played, that was our one time of the year that you got your travel money.
Yeah.
And it was like, thank you for the one kid that lived in Alaska. That's on that team. But also for the future of the program, Nashville's a hot spot for talent in football. I think for recruiting purposes, Tennessee probably wanted to go there to lock down the state of Tennessee. So for the players and for recruiting, it's important.
Sterling?
I say it's still important. I mean, you got to have bowl games. It's part of college football. It's part of the culture. And it's still an honor to get invited to one. I mean, it's this one team in SEC that wished that somebody invited them. I'm just saying. So,
2 and 10.
But they still wish to be invited. What I'm saying, it's still a goal. It still gives the players some incentive during the season when sometimes things don't go right during a game or two. You want to go to a bowl game, and it gives you time to unite with your teammates in a different city like Daniel just mentioned, and you have so much fun, man. And you meet the other guys on the teams. You make friendships for life. I think it's still important.
Yeah, see, I'd be tempted to put an expletive in front of my answer, which is yes. But I think John, I agree with where you were kind of going with this, because I think it depends on the bowl. There's a lot of them. I mean, if Tennessee had ended up in like the Duke's Mayo Bowl or a lot of the other, I can think of, I had a list that I was doing at home, about 20 that it would have been the Young factor. But Nashville's a pro city. You're playing in a pro stadium. It's a big tourist destination. It's a short drive, really, for all of those reasons. And Tennessee basically whiffed in the mid-state area in recruiting. So you've got a chance to go there and show what an exciting brand of football you play in person. So, yeah, I'm all in on this one.
And can I add one more thing? Don't forget, it wasn't just a few years ago when they did the draft in Nashville. 600,000 people came to Nashville. So you're hitting a huge audience with Nashville.
Awesome market.
Only important if you lose. Butch Jones was 3-0 with his bowl games. How'd that work out for him? Jeremy Pruitt won his bowl game, and 12 months later, gone. I don't think they're as important as they used to be because you've got 45 of them. And now with Texas A&M dropping out, you have a 5-7 team in Rutgers that got the invite. You've had losing records before that have gone to bowls. You had it last year with COVID. I just don't think they're as important. Is there still some importance that you can find in all these games? Sure. Yeah. Anybody that's got if you're on scholarship, you want to win the games. If you're a coach, you want to win the game. That's why Marshall's coach said, hey, we'll go to the Gator Bowl and play our second bowl game. We lost the first one. Let's give us a second game. I get that. But in terms of just overall grand scheme of things, I don't think they're anywhere near as important as they used to be. When I was a kid, and I had to walk to school uphill both ways, there were 20 bowls then. And I remember the people in my family who were older than me saying 20 bowls. The only ones that matter are these 5. Now it's like with 42, 43 bowls, I just don't think they're as important as they used to be.
No, and I'm going to agree they're not as important as they used to be, but it just has extended football season. It has made it more interesting from a fan standpoint that you get that. And plus, I think you dangle that out in front of the team. I mean, you weren't going to win an SEC championship this year. And so it is something for the team to play for, like you guys said. Yeah. You get a trip, you get a nice watch, you get a little cash.
It also means more when you're going up the ladder.
Yes.
If they're going back to the Music City Bowl next year, I think you're going to have a lot of people who today are saying, oh, it's important. Next year, will be saying,
And if
you're going up the ladder, it's one thing. Butch Jones' first bowl game, when everybody got fired up, went and watched him beat Iowa down in Jacksonville, that was one thing. By the time he's beating Nebraska over in Nashville in the Music City Bowl, people are like, Nebraska sucks like we do. What do we care?
If you're Alabama and you were going to the Citrus Bowl this year, it's a big fat 0 for you because your expectations are just different. So I think you got to factor that in too.
Yeah. Let me ask you this very quickly. Tennessee playing Purdue. It's not a name. I kind of like it because it's different. You've only seen them once before. Right. Back in 1979, they were the first Big Ten team Tennessee ever played in 1979. But if you say the name Penn State, okay, there's a little gravitas there. I think a fan would look at that and say, Penn State could beat you. Wisconsin, okay, they could be. Is there a trap here because of the name Purdue that people are going to think and expect, well, you should beat Purdue just because of the name? Even though they've got the number 8 passing attack in the country, they've got a top 20 defense in some category, we'll show you later. Is there a trap at all, Chuck, just in the name Purdue not being as wow as Penn State or Wisconsin?
No, I think that's stinking rat poison, to tell you the truth, John. And here, this Purdue team, they won more games than you did. And they played. You can question the rankings, but they beat the number 2 team and beat the number 3
out there right now today. Yeah. They're all sitting there going, "This Purdue team, we're the underdog against Purdue." I don't think that's.
No, you're favored by 4.5.
Well, there you go.
You feel like you're supposed to beat them, but that's a very capable team.
That's the end of the segment. You just said what I needed you to say.
Well, I got something to say.
Go ahead.
This is what I like about Purdue. You got the power P versus the power T. And then you got Braun versus Hypo. You might have an appearance by Breeze and Manning. It's a lot going on with this Purdue game. A lot of stuff going on. So I think it's a great game in Music City.
I'm interested in
I agree with you.
But I just think there's a trap with the name.
I think if you lose it, there's more of a downside to losing than the upside to winning.
If you lose to Penn State, it's one thing. If you lose to Purdue, it's something else. Daniel, do you disagree?
No, I think you're right, but I still get shaky. I still get shaky every time I'm in the Nashville Stadium after that North Carolina game.
And well, you should.
Very good. And while you're watching, you're going to be doing the Tyler Bray thing. All right, very good. When we come back, one of our longtime panelists makes a return engagement. and we'll be talking about, we'll get his take. He hadn't been here this year. We'll get his take on what kind of grade he gives Josh Heupel for this year. And we'll, a lot of football. Where is the hope level? Or as a program, is there still a little bit of gun shyness to everybody? I know there's no gun shy with Bob, but for the rest of us, we'll discuss. Come on back on the Sports Source.
Have yourself a merry little Christmas. Let yourself be light. From now on, our troubles will be out of sight.